people who, like young generation, they teach us a lot. We give them the base, and then they take that base and they innovate, and they're super creative, and they go far beyond our expectations.
You will never understand what you don't know or what you like if you're not curious enough to go out there and explore, basically.
Exactly. People are always happy to hear their language in somebody else's voice. You get closer to them. You feel like there's this bridge that was crossed. You know, resilience is what makes you stronger at the end of the day. As a child, when you learn to walk, you're gonna fall a billion times, but you still keep trying. And that's what should be the goal of all people. Whatever, you're not gonna be expert in anything in one day. You have to build that expertise. How do you do that? You're gonna make mistakes. Put your feet into something. You get results as you go. If you never try something that you want to do, you're gonna regret it at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you very much for joining, guys. Appreciate it. And for those of you that are new here to the podcast, welcome to Journey to the Summit, where you get advice, strategy, and mindset straight from those that walk the path. Before we start, please go ahead and like and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and share this with your friends and relatives. Today, I'm joined with a special guest, Sheikha Sarah Al Sabah. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Salman. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, appreciate it. And she's going to be talking with us about strategic communication, and we're going to learn more about her journey. So let's start in your past. Tell us about growing up and your life.
Well, so I grew up in the UAE. First of all, I was living there after the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, and I've been there since. I was there for maybe 20 years. I went to school there, and then after university, and then for my BA, and then after I worked there in the private sector. So I learned a lot about a global aspect, about the changes that took place in the UAE, and learning from a diverse group of people. So my whole life, it was adapting to different diverse cultures and adapting to, the different mindsets and beliefs, which was very interesting.
Nice. Was it like international? Did you deal with like different people there? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Like, first of all, my school and university were completely international, of either regional Arab countries or Asian countries, even the US, Europeans. So it was very diverse. And then also the school, it was also a lot of diverse from the Arab world, from different, like companies who were based in the UAE at that time would send their kids to the same school, or people from local community, local population also would be with us. So it was very interesting to relate and to adapt to different people and cultures, and share also from yourself. We have a beautiful culture here in Kuwait, and to share that with my fellow, schoolmates or university mates. And then in the private sector, of course, you know how it is in the 2000s, the early 2000s until the 2010, I was there. And it was completely diverse, international, competitive. So you learn about agility, resilience, adapting strategically as you go along. So in my field, it's communication. I learned a lot, and all the international best practices, which was super interesting. And I had very good mentors that I'm still in touch with to this day, who are now back at home in their own countries. And they still now, they give me insights to where things are going with regards to communication, or be it new technologies. Some went into cybersecurity. So it's very diverse, very interesting. And it's nice to be in contact with these people in the long term. When you start in your career, you're just an entry-level employee. But then when you go along, you become colleagues, and you become each other's, you can bounce off ideas with each other, which is amazing about, that's what diversity and sharing and exchanging is all about.
Yeah, it's good that you're still communicating with them. Yeah. It's a lot of people when they finish maybe college or high school or whatever, they just forget about like the people that taught them and everything.
For sure.
So that's really nice. When did you get into diplomacy and media and communication? Tell us about how did you step in?
Well, it's a very interesting path. So if I go back, let me take a step back. So I was in the private sector for around 8 to, let's say, I don't even remember, it's like another chapter of my life, but let's say around 8-9 years. And it was moving from that, just a communication, public relation, portfolio towards investment. And then because I invested in a project, I went to Argentina, also in communication, polo, hospitality business. So I was working on the communication aspects, on the marketing aspect, and public relations aspect in another completely different and diverse, environment, and living amongst different cultures. Learning from Latin American culture, which was very new to me, which was very interesting as well. So then my job was to bring in people from the Middle East or Asia or Europe to come to bring them towards Argentina for a polo hospitality, for the polo game, to learn how to ride, how to play polo with Argentine polo players, learn how to, about equipment, have a whole experiential experience, to live that experience, which was very interesting. And in a new environment with new people of different, a completely different culture than me, which also has its challenges and has its positive and negative aspects. But mostly the whole experience taught me a lot about independence, resilience, and learning how to communicate in different cultural, environment. There I had to communicate with the local, population, who were part of the polo club that I was working in, and plus the international people that were coming in from all over the world. Basically, we had people from Malaysia, you had people from the US, you have people from Singapore. So one is not the same as the other, and you have to be very adaptable in your way of dealing. And there's also these cultural nuances that you have to learn how to, there's international protocols, nuances, respect different culture. And this is coming from Kuwait, where we're open towards different cultures. Our history is about being a hub for a route of Silk Road. So you had people coming in from all over the world, and you were a society that's conservative but open at the same time, which is contradictory, I know, but interesting. And I've taken that experience that I've learned from my own environment and brought it to a different environment and adapted it to that cultural nuance, which is very interesting for me to learn and to develop as we go along.
Yeah, it's interesting that you chose Argentina. I know a lot of people choose Europe or the United States or these countries, but why Argentina? Why?
Why exactly? It was an opportunity. Plus, at that time, there was, I think it was the Jumeirah were opening, which didn't go through, but they were supposed to open a hotel in the area that I was going to work in. So there was a chance to invest in something that was interesting and long term. It would have been very, a very lucrative opportunity. It didn't turn out. There was other, because it happened during the 2008 economic crash. So there was a lot of different economic factors that didn't allow the project to succeed. But in the end of the day, I tried to make it work, and I stayed for a couple of years, a year and a half. I had the chance that my brother was based in Buenos Aires. He was in Argentina, so I had the support system, and you can say in a way, but in the sense of learning and adapting and living the life in the countryside with the people, you learn a lot. And it wasn't a lucrative investment, but it was lucrative in its insights and what it brought to me and how it developed me to the person I am today.
Nice. So let's tie that to international diplomacy. Can you tell us, like, how your experience in Argentina helps you with international diplomacy, maybe?
For me, I feel like when you deal with different cultures, different people, you have to adapt your communication. You have to always remain authentic to who you are. That's the essence of any communication, in order for your message to go across and to resonate with other people. But what makes my experience different is that I learned to adapt to people at their cultural level. So while maintaining my own culture and my own identity, so that there's a small, like a little line of where your culture meets the other person's culture and how you can present a shared culture together. And to advance, whatever, like for us, it's advancing, promoting our project. For them, it's experiencing that polo environment so you have to give them the best client experience. And you need a lot of nuance of cultural understanding. And that's related to diplomacy. In the end of the day, what is diplomacy? When you do multilateral diplomacy, which I've done after that experience, you have to deal with a lot of different countries, but you all have to align together to come out with the best outcome for all, right? If one is pulling everything to their direction, you're going to have a standstill in negotiations. So how to come out with the best outcome without losing your own national interest in so everyone has personal interest. Without losing that, at the same time, you align yourself so that each one can get the best, the best situation out of this project. And for the people coming in from abroad to experience the Argentine experience, what do they want? They want to feel that they've, had that experience. They play the game that they love. They learn about the different foods that the food is a joining factor of any culture. They experience the famous Argentine asado. They learn from experienced polo players. And that's what we do. We bring in, they play a huge tournament with different teams from the region. So that's what we would give them, the experience, and enrich their lives so that they can take that home to their countries and spread the word of mouth in a positive way. What was their experience? And that's a form of diplomacy.
Yeah, that's really beautiful to make them live the experience.
Exactly.
Basically. Yeah. Okay. So you finished Argentina. You finished working in Argentina, and then you went to the UN and NATO.
No. I went back to the UAE,
yeah,
where my parents were based at that time, and then I decided this was a good time to go back home. So, because after working in the private sector for so many years, working in Argentina, I'm like, okay, this is a time. Either I apply in the UAE as I was before and continue within the corporate world, the private sector, or I move towards my home, back to my country, back to my society, which I hadn't been there since the 90s. So it was a huge change, adjustment coming home. Of course, I would visit continuously with, my family were there still, but coming back and living somewhere, it's completely different. This is from my experience. Living in the UAE is different when you visit. Living in Argentina is different than when I go there as a tourist and I visit. The same thing, when I come back home and I live here, I'm learning so much from my own country, because it's changed from when I left until now, when I was entering 2010, 11. So what happened is I came here. I had to put my name in the Civil Servants Commission. At the same time, I was working in the voluntarily for private companies to learn and understand the economic landscape, the political landscape, and how to, to deal with this environment. And where do I want to go? I had to question a lot of things and readapt and start from zero as well, because it's another country, another experience, build your connections and your network. So it was interesting. And then my name came out in the papers, as you know, and then it went to the Ministry of Information. And I went as a novice, new in the ministry, and they aligned me because of my study background. They put me in the international relations department. And that's where I was for many years until I am now in the Undersecretary's office. So I've been in the ministry for, it's going to be now nearly 13 years. So it's a long time.
What about the challenges fighting extremism?
So we at the Ministry of Information, we had back in 2013, 14, let's say 2015, we had a unit, like a committee related to countering radicalization. It's part of the global coalition against Daesh. At that time, it was Daesh. So we were working with the international committee in order to counter messaging, communication messaging of radicalization. So countering radicalization messages globally, not focused on Kuwait or anywhere else. But we were bringing our experience from Kuwait we have this, the Center of Moderation, our government's agendas and policies related to the countering radicalization. So we were working with the global coalition, which is, I don't know how many countries at that time. It was a lot of, like nearly all the countries, big countries of the world. And the chair of our communication countering, the unit, it was the communication cell, was the UK and the UAE. So we worked with them in many different elements. So campaigns to insights, communication, messaging for the youth. It was mostly aimed at youth, aimed at the general society in general. And we had a couple of campaigns that we had. Campaign for moderation, for tolerance. We had also different campaigns that we had, but it's all related to the element of communication. So messaging, how you talk to people, that you bring them towards your sentiment of moderation, tolerance, understanding of other people. So this was the aim.
And what about like managing crisis and
Yes.
Earning the public trust? Maybe how did you do that?
So the managing crisis, this is a consistent living experience in any media world, in any world, any corporate world as well. So you have to have transparency, first of all, and you need to have authentic messaging. Messages need to be prepared in advance. So you need to have a prepared strategy, a roadmap that you have in place. And you have to have key messages. These are the messages that you need to align with the public and to keep the public, to gain the public's trust. In any crisis you have, you need to create awareness, first of all. So number one is being authentic, create awareness, engage the public, and to listen, because you need to know what's the sentiment of the people. And you need to reassure. The role of government also is to reassure the public in a credible manner. And that's what we try to do in the ministry.
Yeah, nice. And what was like one of the biggest, let's say, projects that you worked on regarding crisis?
Yeah, was Masjid Sadiq. That was that was a big shock to our country and our community, and that was one of. We reacted, so we reacted very quickly. So you have to be rapid response. You had to reach the public. So you had the Allah Yarham al-Amir on the ground when that happened, despite security issues. And that was a reassuring factor for the public. So we had, as a media, have to show that to the public, that this is what's happening. We're on the ground, the government's on the ground, the Emir is on the ground, and we're here to help and protect our people. And that's what communication is. In media, you need to reach, to connect the story to the people in a manner that's very trustworthy, because that's the truth, that's the essence. We don't want to, it's not something that's fake, it's really there, nothing is staged. And it's a time where everyone's is suffering, right? You're suffering because you've lost somebody in the ministry, we lost people that we know, colleagues, or their family members. So and Kuwait is it's a small society. So everyone's going to be touched by such an event. And that's where we needed to keep with the government's message that we're a government that is for everyone. We have all the diverse communities of our country, and everyone needs to be represented and to be heard. And at the same time, you need to feel that the people are there for you, right? And supporting you and reassuring you in time of need.
Yeah, that's beautiful, actually, where people feel like connected together. Exactly. And we're all sharing the same, let's say, the same goal at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about today? You're working on Vision 2035?
We're working on the strategy of the Ministry of Information 2026 to 2030.
Tell us a little bit about it. Yeah.
So this is, we're very lucky this time. This is a new, it's a new era of our ministry, and it's a new mindset. And His Excellency, the Minister Abdulrahman Al-Tairi, he's put into place a kind of approach. What is this approach? It's a participatory approach. So what did we do? We brought in in-house volunteers. We had more than 102 volunteers who wanted to participate with us on creating our ministry strategy, their organization strategy, which was amazing because you have people from the ministry from different, levels of their career, entry level to veterans of our organization, it's super interesting. So we held workshops. And then we can't have 102 working on this. We have to spread them out in different committees and different elements of requirements based on their skill sets and their expertise and knowledge. So we had different kinds of workshops, maybe more than 50 workshops. The volunteers were interviewed after, and we based on their ability to provide us with their skills and their knowledge and their expertise and their degrees, we assign them to different roles. And we have like a diverse group, very dynamic group of volunteers who have given more than 8,000 hours today, from July to today. It's like,
inshallah.
Yeah. And this is done without any monetary return. They're not receiving any benefits. This is something extra to their work. So they're giving from themselves for their country and for their institution, which is something that wouldn't have been there if you thought of, we're a country that always gives, that's true. But we had a time when you're in an organization, you don't see any growth, you feel a kind of depression. And now we have a renaissance of our organization and a renaissance of our people. So everyone's giving from themselves, and they've been doing an excellent job. So we're holding workshops. We did the internal workshops with all our sectors and all our departments and our executives and leadership. So, and now we're moving outside to stakeholders and learning what do people want from the government media? What do they want to see in the media landscape for the next 5 years, 6 years, or 20, 30 and beyond, right? So we need to have a sustainable strategy that's looking future ready and looking to the future, and that's implementing different technology. Everything is changing so rapidly. The communication space has changed so much in such so little time. With AI, you have technology, AI tools. So what do we have to do with all this? We need to adapt, but at the same time, we need to keep the human element. That's the most important for us. Values and purpose at the center of everything that we do, embedded in our strategy. So what gives life to strategy? The people, which is incredible. And we have our organization's goal, What's the goal? We need to have an agile media that serves the people. In the end of the day, we're the media of the country, the media of the citizens, media of the residents, media of the people who live here. And that's our goal, to listen to all our stakeholders and come up with a strategy that serves the higher good and the well-being of all.
And you're dealing with both like public and private sectors together.
Yeah. We're gonna hear from everyone. This is what we want to do. We want to hear from all sectors of society and NGOs, civil society, anyone who has anything related to media or has a stake in media, who thinks that they're a stakeholder. They should participate in creating a future where they can, where they see themselves in the media that serves them, first of all. Second of all, maybe they're related, they have something to do with media and they need the help, the support of the media, the state media. So, and support does not mean monetary support only. You can have logistics support, you can have infrastructure support, right? In the end of the day, or expertise, sharing of experiences and expertise. One of our big success project is Platform 51. It's a public-private venture, and it was led by youth-led innovation platform. So that's something that's more than we had in the pilot period, maybe more than 2 million views. That's like a big wins when it comes to things that are new and that are developing and that are continuously developing in the positive direction. That positive direction is the country's future. We want to build a country that's resilient, a country that you can have your identity portrayed in your media, where the citizens and see themselves in their media. So this is our aim, is to have a reputable organization with international standards, right?
Yeah, you mentioned sustainability.
Yeah.
To what extent? Like, what type of things do you focus on when it comes to sustainability?
First, when it comes to sustainability, it's very diverse. So you have a factor of sustainability is the ESG, environment, social, and governance. Sustainable governance, what does that mean? It's a governance that looks at the long term, implements sustainable action in its daily practices. One of the actions that we have is to preserve our knowledge database, to create a knowledge-based hub, an organization that is based on knowledge, practical knowledge that is transferable to our institution and to our daily work environment. So that's one. That's a huge sustainability project in and of itself. And then you have the social, the people aspect. So you need a mindset internally. Your employees need to have an environment that is, sustainable, that is comfortable, that is respectful to their, their needs, their basic human needs. Plus, that where they see themselves for the future, right? And where sustainable projects are implemented that are beneficial to their well-being. So a culture that cares about its people. So that's another part of sustainability. And then you have the environmental aspects where you implement environmental changes, right? That are aligned with sustainable SDG goals. So those are all part of our implementing sustainability into the daily practices of our institution.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So how do you attract maybe the young generation? Like, what type of skills do they need to build, or what are you looking for, basically?
Well, first of all, this is such a good question, Suleiman. The people who, like young generation, they teach us a lot, first of all. Like our team, our volunteer team are mainly young generation Z, which is the majority of our population anyway in Kuwait. Mm-hmm. They've taught us a lot in their way of thinking. They adapt very quickly. They have a lot of questions, and they're tech savvy. They're very adaptable to situations, and they're willing to give of themselves, which was such a refreshing mindset. They gave volunteer time when they went to Osaka, because our ministry has the pavilion in Osaka, Japan. And some of our volunteers were there, they were volunteers in Osaka, and now they're here volunteering on this strategy. So you see that there's a willingness to give of themselves, because they want to see that change within their organization. They want to see the transformation that they're looking for, the transformation of their country to match the regional transformation, to match the global transformation. And they want to develop skill sets. And this is what we're trying to do, trying to align our organization to international best practices. If we take the strategy project, just now we had more than 50 workshops that were held in the ministry by the volunteers, master classes on how to present, on a stage or behind a camera, how to
public speaking.
Yeah. And this is done by colleague to colleague. It's a horizontal workshop. So volunteers, each one have a talent, and they give a little workshop. One did brand identity today. She had a brand identity for institution. So it's A to Z, from when you enter an organization, how to brand it from the entrance, from the walls, from the logo. So it's a whole little workshop masterclass given by one of our volunteers. So they're learning from you, from your experience, but at the same time, you're learning from them as well. They have amazing talents in graphic design, talents in the use of these new technologies, the AI tools, behavior analysis, sentiment tools, and we're learning from them as well. And they're learning from our experience, but we're learning from their tech savviness, from their new mindset as well, these agile mindsets for the future, which is extremely interesting, we can say.
Yeah, and they're like filled with energy. They want to give. They want to give.
And they want to see change. And they're ready, and they're enjoying, because this participatory new way of doing things within the ministry, to be a participatory platform for our employees and for the general the wider community. So this being an integral part and participating in setting those new best practices for them, that's wonderful. They're so extremely happy about it. And there's such a diverse group. You can't imagine. If you meet them, each one has amazing skill sets. Also, we had them there. They were doing the facilitating for workshop in less than 2 days, 3 days, by just practicing things that they've never done before. They did it with expertise level, which was because they gave their heart fully into what they were doing. And that that's national pride. At the same time, pride in themselves, in their development, and willingness to take that, to put all the effort. We would come weekends, stay till from maybe morning till the evening, till 6, 7. No one complained. No one was tired. Everyone is wanting to do. Attending workshops, attending work, interviews. They went and interviewed more than maybe 100 and something interviewees. They interviewed leadership in our organization. They interviewed heads of departments, interviewed employees. So recently we went, because now we're out on the open, the public, the private sector and the news landscape. So external to our ministry, they went to the news agencies to meet with all the editors, editor-in-chief, the heads of the news agencies. And they imagine these, and they got such wonderful reviews after the interviews, because they go in prepared. They have a whole, it's a template, but adapted to their own manners and own ways of speaking, ways of, interacting with others. So we give them the base, and then they take that base and they innovate, and they're super creative, and they go far beyond our expectations. So we're very proud of them.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, actually. And I'm pretty sure that some people watching, or they just want to join. So how, I mean, in case you have like openings for those people that want to volunteer, or how does it work?
For us, the volunteers are in-house. So because we don't have any benefits to give people, where it's in-house. So the in-house is they're stakeholders of our organization, but we want to hear from everyone. If anyone's related to media, we want to hear from you. If you have any recommendations for where the organization should go in the next 10, 20 years, contact us. We're more than willing to get feedback on what do they think, where do they think they envision this kind of strategy, what do they want to see from a state media, with what do they predict are the changes of the future. If anyone's in tech, what are the technology new technologies that are expected to come in the next 10 years or the next 20 years? Some people, they monitor trends and they can analyze and predict what's going to come. If anyone's like that, please reach out to us, and we're more than willing to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Please, guys, just if you have anything, just go ahead and let them know. You mentioned something about different languages. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that learning a new language is always good. Can you tell us, like, how does it help you in your work, like having a new language and these things?
Yeah, look, you always, when you meet people where they are, people are always happy to hear their language in somebody else's voice, right? If you meet somebody new and somebody's talking to you from a different country than yourself and they speak your language, that's a connection. So yeah, it's interesting and enjoyable to have that asset when you go somewhere else, right? So when I was studying in France, I did my master's in France, and I worked for my internship and for my master's in France. It was so lovely to talk to people in their own language and to learn from them and to study in that language, which was, I'm not going to say it's easy, but to study after studying in English all my life and then going and doing my master's in French, it was a challenge, yeah, but it was a huge experience, beneficial experience for me. So for me, a language is also the cultural touch of a country. So when you talk to people and you have their expressions, you can relate to them in a way that's not superficial. It's more profound. So you get a connection. And for me, I got those kind of experiences when I was in France, and I had such beautiful interaction with people and learned so much. Also practicing a language that I don't use all the time. It was wonderful. But also these languages helped me, like French. And when I was having here in the conferences with the global, we had big conferences in Kuwait when I first entered the ministry. We had the conference for rebuilding Syria. We had, I forgot what it was called at that time, but and then we had the Arab League conference, the GCC conference. So with the African and the African Arab conference, so it was all held here in Kuwait, and we were part of the media center, and we had journalists from all over the world, and many of them, especially from African countries, who spoke French. For them, it was such a wonderful thing. They started speaking, and they're like, "Oh, you're Kuwaiti and you speak French," and so they were so super happy, and they had a positive interaction with an experience within that media center because of just the language. So for me, that's also building on diplomacy, building on public relations, because the people, they relate to you in that way. They feel like more comfortable talking in their own tongue.
Yeah, exactly. You feel like way more connected with
yes, exactly.
in their own language. But you're not using that in the 2035, right? Is it part of the 2035 vision to speak with many different languages, or?
It's not a requirement, but we have many people who speak different languages. We have people, some of our employees who went to Osaka, some of them spoke Japanese.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we have interesting hidden talents in our ministry. But it's not a requirement. But for example, one of our national vision of 2035 is looking for global positioning. How do you do that? You need to interact with the global world, and the international community have diverse languages. Of course, many people, when they deal in globally, they speak in English. But in the end of the day, when you meet people at their own, where they are, with their languages and with culture, and you have that extra, when you negotiate with people, when you deal with the people, you both exchange better. Mm-hmm. So you exchange better with each other when you connect in a manner that is more relatable and more authentic for them, right? So for me, having a language, it's an extra, and it brings you an added value to whatever you do. So when I speak with somebody who speaks French, you adapt to them, and when they see you adapting to them, it's like when we see somebody speaking Arabic with us. Okay, maybe they're not perfect in the language, but when they speak to you, you get closer to them. You feel like there's this bridge that was crossed because of their effort, right? So that's the same thing when you deal with people in the business world or in the media world. It's nice to transcend barriers and transcend differences and find a common point. And language can be that common point. Food can be that common point. There's many manners of interacting with people in order to, have something that's more profound in the end of the day. And I think this is where, like, the message should be. It's like, yes, we have all these technology, all these augmented reality and AI, artificial intelligence, but in the end of the day, the human element, the human factor makes all the difference. Human factors, understanding, compassion, authenticity, engaging with people in different manners that's relatable to them. So all this helps you advance and helps other people feel, connected as well, and you feel more connected. So you create a bounding and a profound connection in the end of the day.
Exactly. Like it always comes back to people.
Exactly.
And like adding to your point about talk, even if you don't know the language, this is like an open message for everyone out there. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, especially in English maybe, or any other language, people will appreciate your effort if you try to talk, even if you make mistakes or you say things that don't make any sense. People will love you for doing that. Nobody's gonna like make fun of you or anything. They're gonna they're gonna appreciate your efforts, basically.
That's so true. Yeah.
I have like a lot of people that teach languages on LinkedIn and stuff, and they encourage people to talk and go out there.
In the beginning, when you learn any language, anything new, you're gonna make mistakes. That's part of life. But this is what makes you, resilience is what makes you stronger at the end of the day. As a child, when you learn to walk, you're going to fall a billion times, but you still keep trying. And that's what should be the goal of all people. Whatever, you're not going to be experts in anything in one day. You have to build that expertise. How do you do that? You're going to make mistakes. But this mindset, this is how we have to change mindset, learning from mistakes. It's not, okay, we need self-reflection. At the end of the day, it's not just learning and just doing everything perfect. No, mistakes, you become stronger from mistakes. You learn resilience. You learn how to have that, a stronger personality because you have to overcome obstacles. All this adds to the value of your experience and enriches it. So I think mistakes is such a positive thing. It's part of life.
Yeah, it's a proof that you're trying. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's like a muscle you need to like.
Yeah, and
train.
It's how fast you get over it. I think at the end of the day, it's not making mistakes that's the problem. It's the people dwelling on these mistakes and sitting down and saying, crying over mistakes. No, you have to get up and move forward. And learn, self-reflect, learn from these things.
Exactly. What about young people that want to step in to a career in diplomacy and communication, what's your advice for them?
I think young people, if they want to get into communication or diplomacy, it's just that they have to get in. Try, do something that is related to communication is everywhere. First of all, try to learn how to relate to people, how to communicate in a clear manner, how to build trust and authenticity. Authenticity is what's going to make you or break you, like if you do something but you're not true about how you're doing it, or you're not authentic, people see through it, so you can
from miles away.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's what makes a difference. So when you have to do things, you really need to be yourself and to be curious. Be curious about all kinds of information, learn. At the same time, it's not only, I'm not going to tell them just go into, that university and study. You need to put into practice. So you should go to university. You should study. If that's that's what you love and that suits you for your career. But don't think that there's going to be one road. Be flexible, adaptable, and resilient. The key is to have long-term goals, but be flexible how you achieve them. So life path is not one line. It's going to twist and turn and shake. How you use that to achieve that goal in a way that's authentic to you, that's what I would advise them to. Stay curious, be authentic, and move forward. Just try, put your feet into something like what you're doing with the podcast. For me, you're just doing something and experiencing it and keep going. And, you get results as you go. If you never try something that you want to do, you're going to regret it at the end of the day. More than you're going to sit down if you tried and fail, you'll get over it, right? Khalas, you close that chapter, move on. But if you never try and you're 10 years from now, I wish I did that, it's going to be a regret. And I think life, we should have as minimum regret as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like regret is always way worse than making the mistakes. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And learning and moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. You had... one of your goals is empowering women in this field. What do you think women go through or things that they need to put in mind as they're going into communication in this field?
First of all, I think women, they should have the confidence. They should be secure of their voice, that it's going to be heard. And then they should also form networks among themselves in the same way that we have, men's duaniyas, support groups. Networks is what will change everything. You have mentors. I think anyone should be a mentor if they're in a certain level of their career. I had a wonderful mentor when I entered the Ministry of Information back then. Now she's retired, but Sarah Dian. Mashallah, she's the one who helped me develop into the person I am today within the ministry. She gave me that drive just by her example, first of all, her example, and also her advice. If you are a mentor to other women, and as a woman, you will feel that push towards doing something better and helping each other, I think that's one thing. At the same time, I don't think we should base things based on man or woman. I believe in merit in the end of the day, So if you're good at something, you should, thrive. You should develop it. You should achieve it. And mentors are what helps you. I think mentoring young people looking to develop skill sets as they go on. Don't think that, I'm going to just study this and go into this job and then that's it. You have to keep developing. So, and that's the same advice I would give to women or anyone for that matter, be it a guy or a girl. You have to develop, continuously develop as you go along. You never feel that you know everything, because you don't, and never feel that somebody in front of you cannot be an added value or you can't learn from them. Whoever is in front of you, you're going to learn. And as long as you self-reflect, you're going to learn. And for the women, I think that's it. You need to be more confident in your voice. And you need to support each other and support all these new and young talents that are around you. I think that's what changes when we support young talent and they develop. For the future is going to be bright. In the end of the day, what do we want? I don't believe in, just thinking only in my vision or my career. I think a bigger picture is what we need to think about, and to have that connection with others, the well-being of all, because everyone's different and everyone has something to give. And everyone can be an added value to their nation and to their country, to their institution, to each other, to their community. So for me, that's what's important in the end of the day. And for women, I think it's just having that voice and that knowledge, the security that you can do it and you can go for it, and that you take that chance. You need to be a bit of a risk taker in the end of the day. But it's a positive risk, Put your feet out there, walk towards your goals, and help each other along the way. I think that's the most important, being of service to others.
Yeah, and I would add, never compare yourself with anyone.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Exactly. And there will always be like someone better than you, and yeah.
Yeah, but it's not, for me, I don't see it as being they're better than you or they're less, this is what I tell the volunteers also who are now with us in this project, is that you each have a different talent and you can develop each other, you add on to each other. So maybe I'm good at communicating in an extrovert manner, but this person is much better at listening in a communicative manner. So you need both to build trust. You need both to advance. So you can learn from each other and develop those skill sets within you. I think if you look at things in that way, that this person has something that I admire and I want to develop that skill set within me. And that's how you can help each other. Like I think that when you are in a certain stage of your career, when you don't want to help and you close off, you don't succeed. You become static and you don't move from that spot, because you've not opened yourself and you've not allowed other people also to thrive. For me, the best leaders are the ones who have the most dynamic and interesting, and maybe they're smarter than them as a team around them. If you're a good leader, you have the best minds and around you. So all your team have a different perspective than yourself, or else what's the point? You're going to be in one line, one perspective. You won't be able to develop, and you won't be able to see things in a different way. And that's what makes things more interesting and more successful and more impactful, is when you have a diverse experience, insights, perspectives that come together to achieve a certain goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And one thing I want to add is sometimes things get stressful, especially in like communication. What is your advice for people that go through a lot of stress when they're communicating something or in this field?
The number one thing, it's preparedness. You always need to be prepared. Communication, this is everyday practice. It's not, you're not going to sit down one day and say, I can't practice, or I know everything. I don't need to. I have enough experience. You need to practice. And I think that's what we have to do in any communication. Preparedness. Anything that you have to do, if you want to be ready, you need to prepare. And having that mindset, being intentional about it, that's what makes a difference.
Yeah, and it helped you on a personal level. Do you think that it helped you maybe grow in your career, or did you use other habits that helped you a little bit to grow in your career? And
first of all, you have to be prepared for anything. You have to have a mindset. You have to have a mindset of adaptability and development. So I continuously take online courses. I never thought for one second that I know everything. I always learn from all the people around me, no matter where they are in their career. Like they can be the younger entry level team members, or veterans of my organization, like superiors or director, you learn everyone has something that they're amazing at, or they have a skill that's unique to your own skill, and learning from them. And at the same time, developing and looking, I like to do a little analysis on myself, a kind of a SWOT analysis on on every year. We have to sit down and see, where's my strength, where's my weakness, where's my opportunities, and where's the threats to myself. Like, is my mindset positive, negative? That's a threat. Am I feeling drained or not? This is kind of a threat, Is something happening that's too much for me and my external environment that can affect my moral or my productivity? So you have to always think in that term, that you need to develop. You always have to analyze and self-evaluate so that you can advance and get towards your end goal. So I would advise people to self-reflect and to adapt and be creative and curious all the time.
Yeah, curiosity is a big thing, actually. You will always you will never understand what you don't know or what you like if you're not curious enough to go out there and explore, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned something about books. Can you name maybe the best book that you read?
I can't name a best book. There's so many books in different fields because I like to read different things. One of the books that impacted me was to do with I forgot the title now. It's to do with the surveillance capitalism or something like that. It's about the new technologies and data and AI and how it affects our new economic reality. That was a book I read some years ago that haunted me, kept me thinking about it. But at the same time, there's the Reimagining Capitalism. It's an amazing book. I forgot the name of the author, but she's a professor in Harvard. That's very interesting. It's to do with sustainability and the new way of thinking in our economic reality, which is also something related to economics and learning. But then there's also personal help books that I find inspirational. Like there's the book about the 4 agreements. I don't know if you ever heard it.
No. Yeah.
So it's about being, you have these 4 agreements that you don't criticize people. It's like 4 truths that you have to uphold in yourself. And you keep that as your guiding light. And I find that very, very helpful for me as a person to be compassionate to others, to listen to others, and to respect everyone, because everyone has something, everyone's going through something. So we need to be respectful, we need to be understanding, and we need to have respect for ourselves as well and our own boundaries, which is also part of this life that we live in and dealing with other people. So I think books, I can sit down and talk about books from here till tomorrow. I like to read all kinds of books. And then, of course, there's fiction that sometimes you need a little something light when you've had a stressful day. That I always love my classics. If I go back to Jane Austen and all these kind of literary classics that I love.
Yeah, that's nice. Actually, yeah, I'm the same. I've read books from different fields, and sometimes you need to jump to a different field just to
feel lighter.
Yeah, a little bit lighter, basically. Okay, so let's jump to the future section. AI is a big thing. Where do you see AI going in your field, inside communication?
Well, there's a lot of, it's everywhere, right? You have translation, it's now done by AI. You have auto captioning is done. You have metadata tagging is done through AI. So you have so many basic things that are done, even visuals, augmented reality, virtual reality. This is in television and broadcasting, you have it a lot. So these things are also data collection, sentiment analysis, all this gathering information for news feeds are all done through AI. templates, setting templates. You can do that, summarizing long chapters of documents can be done, and translating it to a different, if it's from English, you can translate it easily to Arabic. This is done all by AI. So this is what we see now. And this is the reality of some years ago. But what's coming is even more, we don't know where these transformations are heading. And now you have a huge systems that are changing and transforming. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. I need more expertise on that domain, but I think there's a lot of different elements of AI use, and we're at just at the beginning, and it's evolving rapidly.
Are there limits to the use of AI? Inside, do you see?
Yes, of course. You have to have privacy restrictions. There's also the ethical aspect. You need to be aware of that this is done by AI. You need to be clear, transparent that, this image is completely AI, or this caption was translated by AI. You have to be transparent in the use of this AI. And plus, you can't also, when it comes to governments, we have to be aware of protecting the privacy of our citizens. So we have a limit of we don't want to collect data without the permission of people, right? So that's also where ethical and moral and legislative issues are around. But for the most basic stuff, it's been implemented automatically. We just take Microsoft Copilot. You use it automatically for everyday emails and all these kind of things.
And if you want to change the way governments talk to citizens, what are the things that you would tackle first, if there's anything you can develop, maybe?
I think we're transforming. I think government before, it just was like the father figure who's talking to their children, and it's changed. The reality has changed. People have changed. It's more participatory. It's more interactive. So there's a more back and forth between the communication space. And it's more interactive. So that's transformed already there. And I see that it's going to keep transforming with the times. But changes that we see, I think it's already there. Already just having this participatory platform with our citizens, that's a change in and of itself.
And what about the GCC or the whole MENA region? Where do you see the whole region going in future and inside communication?
We were just discussing it in the PR and Communication Summit. It's rapidly transforming. So you have before communication, the idea of communication was just press releases and messaging. You just have little key messages that you give to your leadership to relate to the public. Now that's transformed. Your communication is a connection. It's bringing people closer to you and you closer to your people. So your space of communication is a human interaction with people. And how do you do that? You have to be, embedded in your values and in your purpose. For us, it's the national agenda. Our national agenda is Vision 2035. It needs to be in all that we do. We need to lead by example. And that's what we're trying to do at the ministry. Our whole strategy around our communication, around our own strategy of our 2030 is based on those values that we put forth, based on human elements and purpose and values and Kuwaiti identity to be integrated in all that we do. And the communication space is no different. This is what we have to implement on a daily basis. For us, the media needs to be a place where the citizens see themselves. Their values are portrayed. They're happy that they have a connection with their identity. It's being portrayed in the best light possible, which is the reality. Your traditions, your values, your environment needs to be portrayed in the way that you see in every day, not in a way that you only look at one side and not the other. And having a space for discussion where we hear from people, where they can hear from us as well. That's what's important.
Okay, so how can we help support the 2035 vision?
I think if everyone sees themselves in those vision, in everyday practices, I think what is the vision? It's for people to have daily actions. So the vision is clear. For us at the media, from a media perspective, is a media that reflects the story of Kuwait and its people, and inspires sustainable actions for generation to come. For us, it's also, this is what we want, a legacy media, a media that inspires people to take actions on a daily basis. And that's what it means to be transformative, and what the meaning of transformation. And that's what we want to see. Transformation in our country, transformation in our media, and in our people. If government, businesses, creatives, and citizens work together, we will not only build a stronger media sector, we will build and we will strengthen the fabric of our society. And that's what we want to achieve at the end of the day. A society that's stronger and more resilient, and that has pride in their national identity. For us, this is something that's important. And I feel like if we look at our young people and we look at our history, it's there, it's in our DNA. This idea of volunteering, it's not a new idea. It's been there for such a long time. If we take back to the beginning, prior to oil, the women were left in the city and the men were out for 6 months of the year. The community were working together. They were supporting each other. You knew that some of your people would not come back. Brothers and fathers, uncles would not come back. But what was there was the help of their community, supporting each other. And that's what we want to adapt that to, those kind of values and ethics for the future. Because the future, all these changes are wonderful, but we don't want to forget who we are and the process of those change. And I think that's what's important, the message that needs to come across for young generation, to remind ourselves, even our generation, to remind ourselves that we can't lose our values in the process of looking for advancing ourselves and our society and our economy. In the end of the day, this values is what will distinguish us, that will last with us, and what will build us to be stronger in the future. Because you don't know what life will bring you. But what makes you strong is those solid and wonderful values that we have. And adapt that to the modern times, to the crazy technological advancements, to the beautiful changes that are taking place.
Exactly, and we can have all types of developments, but there will always be like the core that we have to come back to.
Exactly.
Like core values and things that we cannot compromise. Maybe.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes us human in the end of the day. This love of the human identity and that cultural identity. The differences in the togetherness, because differences are good and differences are lovely. And that's what makes everything, when you bring all these differences together, that little basket of differences creates a country, it creates its people, creates its society, and makes you much stronger in the end of the day.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining today. Appreciate it. We learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that the future generation will get excited and we'll see this vision come to life.
I hope so. And I look forward to hearing this, the impact of those kind of vision on our society. And hopefully this message will come across.
Yeah. Inshallah, I hope so.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And please, please go ahead and share this episode with your friends and loved ones. Have a good day and see you next time.